Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our friends and colleagues joining us from across places and spaces. It could be morning, afternoon, wherever you are joining from. I'm happy to welcome you to the Organ House concert and seminar series today. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. Today, we are progressing in the same pattern within this particular series called Music and AI Dialogue, or we call it AI Music Dialogue. Recently, we had Mr. Korede Omopeloye exploring the impacts, the potentials of digital technology and AI for music education and art education. So in this episode, we are moving forward, we are progressing, building on that particular conversation. And Mr. Omopeloye will further, explore, though not as a continuation of the initial meeting, but in a different context, the potential of, artificial intelligence for music education. And in this context, in a practical, journey to issues around learning management, pedagogy, and issues of, method design, particularly what would we call design thinking in social sciences or the arts. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm happy to welcome you to the Organ House concert and seminar series at the Department of Music, Mountaintop University. Mr. Omopeloye, thanks so much for joining us today again. You are welcome again to the Organ House today.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. So without any further delay, I think I would like to hand over the baton to you, to take us and to, lead us in this process as you have done initially. Perhaps you might just want to introduce yourself to some of our new friends who are joining for the first time today.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening across the world. And my name is Korede Omopeloye. I'm a pianist and a music educator and audio engineer. When I like to call myself a thought leader, but that's just along the line. And yes, we welcome you again to this our series. For this particular series, we have titled it Leading Change. Leading Change. And what is important for me in this particular conversation is that the last conversation, we were able to look at certain things with AI and technology into music education, embracing it. And when we finished the conversation, we found out that majority of the attendees actually embraced the idea. Then some questions happened at the end, and the question was, but resistance, how do we deal with resistance? So what I want to do today really is spend about a few minutes, showing us how we can navigate change as thought leaders, either individually, professionally, or in our separate institutions. When we get that across, we'll look at two models of that. Then we'll look at the advantages of traditional method, digital approach. We'll talk about the addressing disruptions in ethical implications of them. Then the real deal is practical implementation of technology. We'll look at platforms that can help us with learning management systems. We'll look at platforms that can help student engagement. We'll look at platforms that can even allow us teach a bit of music theory and composition and all those things. And we'll find out that each platform will be selected based on the kind of our approach to it. So I'm going to go straight without further ado. Now, I know that I know for free that change leadership is success, right? even though if the change is imposed, but we are always pushing an agenda for improvement. And we also know that in many ways, education is driven by change. Learning involves change. One of the professional recognition of change is moral duty to continually seek to improve quality of service ordered. You know, so looking at this, I want us to first of all realize that change is a process. It's not an event. It drives through nature and history. So immediately, I want us to quickly do something for me. Let's have a look at what's on our screen now, just for 2 or 1 minute, because I'm going to be giving us review points here and there. Have a look at this. Let's think about it. We are thought leaders. Let's think about the changes that has happened in our school or our institution or in our personal, professional lives. Are they external? Are they internal? Remember that this conversation is also talking about AI and its disruptions to traditional method. So once we understand how to navigate the change individually, then we are willing volunteers. Now, if you look at the diagram on the right, these are reasons, you know, these are things that causes change. Is it imposed? Is it neat? Is it as a result of a competition? Is it the result of a change in personnel? Do you have a new VC or a new department? Is it rational? Can it be uncontrollable? I would like just one person that is willing to talk about it. Just one person, 1 minute. Give us. Think about the change in recent years in the school, and just give us a feedback. What do you think was the motivation to those changes, and how did you accept that change? Can people unmute themselves so that one person can speak, please?
Sure, people can.
So can people unmute themselves? Just one person, give us a feedback. Looking at your
Yes,
screen now.
mute themselves now.
Yes. Anybody?
I think change can be uncontrollable, can only be delayed, but then you can stop it.
So is this a personal experience you witnessed that the change is uncontrollable?
Maybe not directly, but then from my years of experience, I've realized that change is something that will definitely happen if you want it or not, like it, but not tied to personal experience.
Thank you very much for that. I also think that change itself takes many options. Many years ago, you know, we know that there are many levels to change, and the orthodox way is for school improvement. Remember that we are trying to embed technology and AI into what we are doing, and we need to be able to understand how it goes. And sometimes traditional strategies are not sustainable. And it's just because it may not be sustainable because of period of diminishing returns. In other words, everybody has to work harder and yet appears to be achieving less in relative terms. If you look at a traditional music classroom and a digital music classroom, you will see that things are get done faster in a particular system other than the rest. I remember that at one of my trainings, I was asked by the trainers, why do you think you have been made into this position? And he said that. I said, well, it's just because I'm the oldest staff. He said, no, we lead change and we introduce technology into music education for three purposes. Whether we are reinventing something, whether we are rescuing something, or we want to refine those things. And this will lead to either improvement, innovation, or transformation. Now, let's break that quickly. Improvement remains an important part and significant approach. Every teacher, every educator in a school needs to be committed to improving every aspect of their work in a sustained basis. But perhaps sometimes this incremental approach is insufficient to the challenges we are facing. At that point, it may be innovation that is called for. And innovation on its own sometimes occurs in isolation. Maybe only one person in the school has embraced technology. It occurs in isolation. Therefore, we need to go into transformation, and that is rethinking every single aspect of the system or the process. Now, for me, we are going to rush through this quickly. We have the adoptive change and we have the adaptive change. You know, one of the approaches of adaptive change is we utilize coaching, democratic, affiliative leadership, leading by example, modeling behavior, or even encouraging ideas through developing shared understandings. As a result, every individual in the organization can begin to champion the new cause and they become willing volunteers. However, on the other hand, adaptive change, can be introduced to make sure that it's a permanent and existent change. Cohesiveness, pace setting, authoritative leadership style are readily used for this. But what I want us to know is that both adaptive change and adaptive change, they are a symbiotic relationship between structure and culture. They lead to one another. So we have to begin to think about it. What approach are we going to take when we want to introduce technology into our own system? Are we going for the adaptive approach where we go for coaches and mentoring? Are we going to go for the adaptive one where it is from straight up down? Now, there are two thought leaders. In leading change in education. And those people are my favorite friends, Michael Fullan and John Cotter. Michael Fullan and John Cotter. Let's have a quick review of what Michael Fullan says about change. He says that there are 10 things in addressing it. Please don't worry, we are just making sure that we are on the same page before we go into the technology aspect. And what are the 10 things he said? Defining the closing the gap, attending to basics, tapping into people's dignity and respect. I will pick on to that. People's dignity and respect, this refers generally to the moral culture of the school, right? Is there mutual respect between the people bringing in the change? And this will also address, resistance. Among all of this also, another point I want to talk about is sustaining positive pressure. This is about the moral, the professionalism, and the drive to maintain focus and engagement with core purpose. So if we live here now and we pick up some learning management systems or adapt some technology into our lessons, we need to sustain that positive pressure so that our colleagues or anywhere we are can understand why we are doing that. That change is not just what is done because we are doing it. I'm rushing through this process because I want us to get into technology as quick as possible. Then the next one for me is quota. And quota is very brutal in his own approach. He says only leadership can blast through many corporate inertia. Only leadership can motivate. Only leadership can change, anchoring it in every cultural organization. I want to assume that since all of us have come to this second conversation, then we are thought leaders wherever we are. We really are concerned about the music education landscape, and we are willing to do that. The most important thing for us then in Kota's model is to establish urgency. And how do you do that? And many people in an organization, they are very, very strong, right? They may really want to resist technology and change. But when there's urgency, urgency will deliver power and credibility to change any project. If complacency is the enemy of change, of an effective program, then what does Kota say? Kota says that raising the sense of urgency, such as engineering a crisis, such as setting aggressive targets, or even exposing weakness with public comparison, right? All of this can allow you lead the thought into leading change and people successfully, adapting. AI and using technology, right? Is it going to happen by chance, or we are going to change it intentionally? Please, I want to do this again. I want one of us to have a look at it. Look at your organization where you work right away. And please look at how you may want to introduce technology to that system. Which philosophy will you follow? Will you follow Fulan that says build capacity, sustain positive pressure? Or would you follow Kota that says that you should create a sense of urgency, either by engineering a crisis or, exposing weakness? Let's just take 1 minute to have that conversation. Please, I would like us to converse with us, please.
Okay, colleagues, kindly unmute yourself. Perhaps you want to say something. It would be nice to hear from you. Okay, who's jumping in?
Yeah, I really want to say I'm more inclined to Fulan's model. And that has kind of been my style anyway from time, kind of create, kind of influence people to do things, to be willing to want to, be a part of that change, kind of co-opting people rather than a forceful way, more like a forceful takeover of something. So I believe a little bit more in capacity. So I will incline more to Fulan style.
Okay, Mr. Phil raised his hand.
Sorry, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
All right. Are we still conversing? Should we move on?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I would like to say something on what Mr. Tusejayi just said. We need to understand the kind of organization that we are in as a leader. Let me put it that way, because there are times that even the people that works with you are not really willing to adapt to change. So you kind of like do something like forcing it on them, so it will make them to work, so not forcing like how do I put it, so I just feel if you think that's the John Cott, I can't remember.
John Cotter.
If you think John Cotter would be the best method to use for your organization, then go ahead with it. But you have to understand the kind of organization that you are in, the kind of people that you work with. So that's what I think.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think also that now we are having this conversation because, like I said earlier, all of us here really want this change, right? And we have to understand it before we start using it. And like you rightly said, we need to understand where our systems, what our systems are. Then we will adapt the best philosophy for that. Now, when we have adapted those philosophy, the next thing we need to do is to embed the change. So after today, after I showed you maybe 3 or 4 platforms, how I use them, how you may use them, you now have to answer this set of questions. This will help you in embedding them correctly. And these are the questions, coherence. That's the process. You move from coherence into cognitive participation. You move from cognitive participation into collective action. Then from there, you move into reflective mentoring. Let me break them down one by one. What does coherence, what means? It means that people understand what is new. What are the aims of this new thing you are changing to? Is there a clear purpose for this new thing? Does everybody in the organization or in the system, as it were, shares this same vision? And what are the benefits of bringing this on? What about cognitive participation? This is about who is likely to be affected. This is very, very key because at the moment, we have people that believe that AI is going to take over our jobs. So therefore, we have to ensure that we let them know that that's not what is happening. Are we going to create new teams? How are people that are contributing into this? How do they feel? Are there relationships to be formed? If we don't know how to do this as individuals or organization, do we need to form teams or form a new relationship? Collective action. This is very, very important. How compatible is the change to the existing work? Are you going to embed technology into a system that is not designed to allow it to work? If you do so, will there be training for people that will be using this technology? If there will be training for people using the technology, will there be required training? If there's required training, how do you allocate those training? Have you identified the willing volunteers that will do all this? Now, the last part is this. Will the impacts be clear? You can't ask your department to just provide you with technology. And after 3, 4 semesters, we can't see the impact. You have to have goals, milestones that will show all that. And how does the goals, how do I put it now? How do they modify the impact of practice? You see, when we can answer these questions in this particular order, or are able to place them in that way, we are very, very well on our way to leading change. But there's one more problem, and this is a very, very funny one. The very funny problem is this: even if you go through all of this, change may still not occur because people don't get the change, because people don't like the change, or people just don't like you. So after all, after all I've said about leading the change, we have a kind of idea of what it is that we need to do as individuals in our own places, leading that thought, of assimilating and embedding technology into our practices as music educators. Now, let us go into what we are here for, learning management systems. Sorry, I'm trying to use technology here. We all know that traditional approach to music, the traditional methods have had develops fundamental music skills. It has helped us to develop fundamental music skills. There was a seminar on Saturday, and Mr. Tosin was talking about such skills through the traditional approach. We know that traditional approach to music education provide structured learning environment. We cannot joke with that. We know that for free. We also know that traditional approaches to music education, these approaches have rich historical foundation. You know, they have been tried and tested many times. So we are not going to discard them. But what are the disadvantages of traditional approach? One, it may lack flexibility in adapting to students' individual needs. You know, the case of one is a case of one size fits all. When a music teacher in a school is a pianist and is always teaching the students from the point of view of a pianist, it may or may not encourage creativity and self-expression in students. Maybe because of personality, students may not be able to get to their full creativity because of traditional approach. And one other thing is that it has limited focus on contemporary music styles and technology. And if you are going to be training and teaching 21st century students, we are not going to just stick to traditional approach. So what are the benefits of AI in music education at the moment? We know that AI for free has revolutionized the way students learn and create music. We know that for free. We also know that it allows us to give immediate feedback and guidance to enhance a learning experience. We know that AI-powered platforms enable collaborative music creation, boosting creativity and teamwork. Let me give you an example of that. During the pandemic, we were forced, not that we were forced, it has to happen. And many teachers that couldn't use technology got stuck. I had this student that was living in India, you know, and we had to do composition for GCSE. And this student requires real life feedback on their composition. So I used a tool called Screencastify, and we gave her the lecture. So because she doesn't have immediate access to me, I'll just have a look at it and see. You will see that at the bottom of the screen, there's a music going on. You can see right here that my video is here, and the student's composition is right here in the center with me. We have used an on-screen keyboard to help the analysis of the music, and we both could hear ourselves. Then at the tail end of the music, you will notice that I gave a comment there saying I do not like this. Yeah, we have to look at it again. There's some section I'm not happy with, but all right. So imagine you using this tool immediately. You can give your students will just have to deal with it. And whenever I see my teacher, that's when I see my teacher. But technology and AI has allowed us to do. All right, let's go. Now, digital technology, this one we know for free that it has replication by providing interaction. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Now, let's have a look at this slide. Let's discuss a little bit about this digital technology, what it does. Then we begin to build on the platforms. We know that it allows, that's it. It has revolutionized music education by providing interactive and engaging tools for learning. Online platforms enable students to access wide range of music, resource, and time. Instruments, software, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Let's pick the first one. Providing interactive and engaging tools for learning. Now, let's assume that I am teaching. Let's assume that I'm teaching. I don't want to use keyboard harmony. I'm just about to teach maybe triads. Let's just go to primary school. I'm about to teach triads. And I have students. I'm in a school where there's only one keyboard. And I can't get my students to come around the keyboard to have a look at what I'm doing. For this particular purpose, I would deploy a tool called Synthesia. Now, this tool not only allows my student to see the keyboard, it allows me, not only allow me to them to see the keyboard, the names are there, but at the top corner, right here, it does the analysis for you. Now, what experience? Look at this particular approach now. Your students are in the class. You've projected this onto the screen. They can see the chords, they can see the names, they can move through. You see, immediately it gives you immediate access to your students. Your students have immediate access to you, and you have immediate access to them. They can readily ask you questions that is confusing them. For me, I believe that this is one very, very necessary tool that we can use, if we are teaching harmony or whatever other things we are doing when it comes to our music classroom. Another thing that digital technology allows us to do is it brings your students and you into one space. Let's carry out an experiment. I want to use a platform now that allows for student engagement. Okay, so I've already designed the PowerPoint. I've designed everything, and I've put my lesson somewhere. All right, this platform is called Peer Deck. So I will share my screen, and I would like you to do something with me now. Wherever you are, please go to your browser and what you need to do for me is to hold on, please. Yeah. What you need to do for me now is go into your browser and this is not what I want. This is not what I want. It's not what I want. All right, let's go. Let's start the lesson again. Thank you. This is what I want now. Okay. So this platform is called Peer Deck. You all can see it now because I said AI Music Education Peer Drive. What I want you to do for me is go into your browser, and in your browser, please type this joinpd.com. Please go to your browser and type joinpd.com. If you have typed it and you've entered it, it's going to ask you for a code. The code is at the right here, XXYGTP. The code is XXYGTP. If you've done that, please, it would be nice for you to just raise up your hand. Even if you've not, I can know once you've joined. The code will be XXYGTP. Have we done that, please?
Join.
So you go to your, okay, let me say it again. So you go to your browser. You said what?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay, so let me show you one more time. So you go into your browser and type join PD. Join PD. I'm typing it on the screen now. Where is it now? Come on. Type join PD. Join PD, right? .com, I think so. Once you've typed that, it will ask you for a code. The code is XXY GTP. All right, Madam Doris has joined. Thank you very much. Now, immediately as you are joining like this, I can see that in my class, Mr. Adegoroye has joined. Bethany Expressible Music has joined. Emmanuel Jovi has joined. Samuel Rotimi has joined. Florence Weke has joined. Yeah, isn't that uncanny to allow you to take attendance? I did about that. You didn't tell me your name, but immediately I can see those that have joined. The code is XXXGTP. XXXGTP. Now, right, two things you can do with this slide. Let me show you two things you can do with this slide. So right now, if I have 10 students in my class, let's be looking at it. If I have 10 students in my class, immediately I can see that only 9 has joined. Then immediately I know that somebody is not in class. Okay, that is done. Another thing you can do with this tool is that once I shift my screen, can you see what is there? What do you wonder about today's topic? Can you see that on your screen now? Hello?
Yes.
So now, can you see what do you wonder about today's topic in your screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now,
Yes.
write your responses. It allows you to write your response. Don't tell me your response. Just write your response. I know that 4 of you have responded already. I know that Mr. Tosin has said is an interesting one. Florence has said that AI is amazing. Somebody else said quite expository. Somebody else is saying expanding my horizon. Somebody else says today's topic is superb. Mr. Lijofi just tapped I and he's still typing. He has pressed space bar and he's still pressing space bar. Now, let me show you what's happening right here now. As you are doing all that, I can see what you are doing right here in front of me. You don't have to see it. So when you use a platform like Peer Deck, that student in your class that is always afraid to ask you questions, that is always afraid, to engage in classroom because they are timid. This allows them, right, to ask those stupid questions, those funny questions. And you know what? What happens is that I can respond to you right there by responding to Rotimi by saying, thank you. I can say, thank you. I can give you individual responses. And immediately I can give you a feedback. So if it's a real question I was asking you now, you will immediately be seeing it. Now, the other thing here is that I'm moving this slide. That is why you can see the slides. You have the option of starting by saying, let us use student pace. Now, when I engage the student pace, you know what I have done? I have done what is called in education differentiation. It means that people that are brilliant or that don't need have my time, they can slide through the slides. Now, if you check, even though my slide is displaying what do you want about today's topic, you can be on a different slide now because it's on student pace. Okay, it's on student pace. So you can toggle between student pace and educator pace. So now if I go and I navigate to the next screen, I will see students, what they are doing on different slides. I will see it. Then I can now say, okay, guys, you are disrupting the lesson now. Let's come back here. And I will stop. I will stop engaging. Like somebody else is here now on this particular slide, on slide 4, somebody is there already writing something. Tosin is there. Olomaya Wadewumi is on slide 4. Meanwhile, I'm still on slide 2. So this particular platform is very, very, very good for engaging our students. So now, before we leave this particular platform, is it possible that I'm going to stop student pace now and all of us will be on this slide? Please, can you just summarize what you as an educator can use Peer Deck for? Type it in on this slide. I will see your responses. Let's do that. Thank you. Now we are just exploring it, making sure that we are not just talking, we are using tools that we can use. Now, don't tell me what your response is, right? But I will be able to see your responses. And this is the point of this particular tool. So please, in those slides, write down what you personally will use Peer Deck for. Oh, Mr. Wande is in school now. Well done, sir. Welcome. So you see, at the beginning of my lesson, there were 9 of us, but now we have 15 of us. So I can measure when people come into class, when they leave class. I can measure who is engaging with my lesson and who is not engaging with my lesson. So as you are mentioning this, I could go to another slide, go to that slide and go and check another student I didn't respond to. I can go and respond to that student now. Meanwhile, everybody is doing something else here. So this tool is very, very useful. I think it is one very, very good, useful tool that we can use. Thank you very, very much. And now I will do one more thing. Another good thing about this tool is that it helps you to also plan your plenary session. Yes, I've left that slide. You can't work on it again. So if you are wasting my time, I can just quickly leave that slide and you move on. So it allows you to plan your plenary session. So if you look at this lesson from beginning now, you can see that the topic is there. I did some prior knowledge checking. What do you wonder about this topic? I went straight into the topic, knowledge. Then I checked for your responses. Then I went to do discussion. Then 1 minute. So this is one very, very useful tool that you can use for student engagement. Let's go to another tool. So I'm going to end this lesson. Now, if I end this lesson now and I say generate takeaways, I do this, all of you will receive those slides in your email. So therefore, your students do not need to copy notes any longer because the slides you give to them are there. I'm not going to do that because this slide doesn't make sense. So what you can do with that is that once you say end session, like I'm about to do now, let's do that quickly. Once you say end session, like end session, I've already ended it. Once you say end section and you exit, it's going to ask you, do you want to publish takeaways or not? And if you publish takeaways, every of your students will have that every of your students will have that in their tools. And you know what also makes it easy for you? You can always engage the lesson again all the time. You can see other lessons I've taught, counter-reformation and every other thing. So this particular tool is very, very useful for student engagement. Madam Elizabeth, you raised your hand. Madam Elizabeth, your hands are raised. Okay, let's just continue. Now, another tool I want us to engage with is this. This one is called Flip. Now, there are many times when you require your students, you require feedback from them, visible feedback. You are not sure if your students are plagiarizing or copying and pasting tasks from the internet. Now, and you want to measure how well they can really defend themselves. Let's say you have a project, you want to teach them public speaking at the same time in the musical context. A tool I use is called Flip. Now, the Flip tool is quite useful in getting video feedback from your students. Now, I have taken I've taken excuses from some of my past students, and some of them are here. So I will be using some of their examples for you. So let's go. So I don't have to log into Flipgrid. However, if you want to get into Flip, what you need to do is go into the internet and just type Flip. All right. Flip, you go to Flip, then you go to getting started. You can say sign up or whatever. When you say sign in, you go to sign in. It's going to ask you, when you say sign in, it's going to ask you two things. Are you using this as an educator, or are you using this as a student? So there will be a student view and there will be an educator view. There will be a student view and there will be an educator view, right? Now, once you get on Flip, you can do many things. You can create a group by creating a class. You create a class. Once you create the class, choose the class. Let's say, for instance, we say University College. We create the class. Now, once the class is created, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call it AI Deep Dive. AI Deep Dive. All right, I will choose a particular diagram, whatever it is. I could choose anything, any of these to just be the classroom stuff. Okay, then I'll create it. Once this is created, all I have to do is copy this link, right? I'll copy this link now. Boom. Then I'll go into the chat room. I'll go into our chat room here. And yeah, I mean Flip. Yeah, the old name is Flipgrid. Sorry, Elizabeth. I'm old school. I've been using Flipgrid when it was called Flipgrid, but now it's called Flip. All right. So I've put the link in the class in the chat room now. If you click on that link, all of us will be added into this classroom right away. Now, in this classroom, once it has been created, it has been created, and that's about it. Bam. You can do many, many things. So once students start joining, you can start giving instructions immediately about what you want to do. So you can create a video to start, then you can give instructions, and you can explore this very, very, very well. But let me make fun of some people we have right here. So let's go to where is this now? Let's go to diaspora. What year was this one? Right. So if you get here, you will see that you can assign a video, right? You can give your assignment in a video-based manner. And look at, this is my assignment here. So hello, Diploma Year 2 students. After today's lesson, we have watched a video about Brazil, and we did not have enough time to discuss. So this is where you are going to do a discussion for me. You will turn in not less than 3 minutes video of what you can say about the video. You need to read your PowerPoint slide I sent to you and watch that video again. Come back here, respond to this video, and give me a not less than 3 minutes video explaining what you got from that video. Right. And your students get this, they get that link. Once they get the link, all they need is technology. Sometimes is not expensive. You just, all they need to do, they just get their phones out, they record themselves. Now let me use the video of the person I asked excuse from. This is the person I asked excuse from. And he did. He gave me a response.
The music of Brazil goes beyond entertainment. It's a cultural activity. It's a national passion. All
right. So immediately you can see that even when you give students performance and task to do, when you give them performance task to do, right? You don't have to wait till the next lesson before you begin to give them feedback. So let's say you give any system can use this, whether secondary school, whether university. If you're a performance major and you get to see your professor 1 hour once a week, you could record your video, put it on Flipgrid. Your professor will have a read at it or look at it. And if it requires to show you some hand techniques, it could record himself and send back to you. It doesn't take any space on your phone. It's just right there in the cloud. Another thing about it is that it is quite safe. It always protects students' integrity. So that is one of the things that we need to be thinking about. So Flip is a good aha. In our Flipgrid class now, we have Samuel Rotimi has joined the class. One day has joined the class. Tony Ademuyiwa has joined the class. So I can see that 4 people have joined the class already. And immediately I can record a video and say, hello guys, welcome to our conversation today. This is what I want to do. This is your assignment, get it done, blah, 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 blah. So Flipgrid is a tool that you can use for anything that you want. There are times when you want to check, if you want to check for critical thinking, you ask a question and you ask your student to give you conversations. Then you can have access to them. Not just the way they type. You can have access to the way they think, the way they put their thoughts together when they are talking. That's a very, 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 very useful tool to use, Flipgrid. Let's move on to one more in student engagement. Then probably we can quickly go to something else. Now, there's another one which I think will be quite useful is Google Classroom. But before we get to Google Classroom, how many of us have really explored how to use Google Slides? Google Slides is extremely, very, very useful. Let me give you one good example of that. All right. So I'm going to go into my email, go to my slides. So let's do that again. In case you don't know, that's not possible. But in case you don't know where slides is, what you need to do first of all is to open your email, right? Open your email. You look at these 9 buttons over there. You click on them and you look for slides. Now, you will see that tons, all my lessons, they have been in slides. They're all in slides. And if you open every single one of them, you will see that there are many things going on there. You are able to approach every student at their point of their need. I'm going to use let's use this one. No, I don't want to use African rhythm now, because if you use African rhythm, there are too many ethnomusicologists in the class, and they will say, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me use treble clef, JJ. Right. So let's have a look at this. And you want to do Google Classroom slide, and I will tell you how to do this. It's quite straightforward. I did this at our last conversation, but I wasn't able to get deep into it. So you have your slides. You notice that on this slide, I'm teaching bass clef. On this slide, I have attended to almost all my students' needs, and I don't have to go anywhere any longer. This is the symbol. This is the symbol that represents bass clef. This is the way you can decode bass clef. This is another way bass clef is written, Abby. And finally, the lines and spaces broken. So automatically, pedagogically, this first slide has finished my lesson for students that are higher ability. They can figure it out immediately. However, if you are going through pedagogical approach and you want to go through, after you introduce your lesson, the next thing you want to do is you want to check for prior nailing, you want to check for scaffolding, and you want to also check if you are ready to put new knowledge. Now, this video is no longer here, so I don't have access to this particular video, but I was able to embed a video into this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint now will now be put into Peer Deck, all right? And students can watch it. Then I ask these funny questions here. Then we go on to the next slide. On the next slide, my objectives are there. You can see that inside this slide, there are pictures showing things, and technology allows you to do this. Allows you to give several examples when you are planning how you want to teach. Because this is Peer Deck, my students can actually write their responses here. This is checking prior learning. Then we go into the lesson. You know, you put all the pictures everywhere. It's another pedagogical approach for students that have dyslexia. Then we go on to the bass clef. Then, because of some students that may not understand the way I speak my Nigerian English, I was able to embed a video into this PowerPoint or this slide, and they get to watch it. How to draw a bass clef. It's quite unique, isn't it? I'm going to stop that now. You can see immediately that you have several approaches, you know, to teaching the same thing, just because you have mastered how to use digital technology to push your idea forward. You will reach more students in this manner than using the traditional method. And there's nothing wrong with the traditional method, really. I just think that we should be able to mix them together. Now they can now draw the slides. Remember, I'm using Peer Deck. So as they are drawing on this slide, I can see it, and immediately I can begin to correct misconceptions. Oh, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it well. So then, you know, we can begin to correct misconceptions there. No, that's not how you do it. You know, repeat this now. Come on. Then you go and you begin to explain in the class. You can draw it like this, blah, blah, blah. Can you see it? No, I can't see it. To make it bigger. Is it clear now? You know, and you are explaining. And this technique can be used at any level of education. So don't think because I'm using treble clef, it's not useful in the higher institutions. Let's go on. Now, another thing which I find useful with Google Classroom slide is that in case my students are permanently confused, I can put my video there so that while they are studying or reading these slides, I can still be talking to them. You know, I can still be talking to them. You can see, I can still be talking to them.
It's because it fixes the second line with a note called F.
So I'm going to show us how to do all of those ones now. Then we'll move to LMS.
You have a piano keyboard.
Now you see, now when I was doing this lesson, I had to draw the piano keyboard. But there's new technology. I don't have to draw the keyboard any longer. I can use my Synthesia to do that. So you will see that all these are quite useful technology, and they help with pedagogy.
It means that
one thing about all of this is that we should be able to choose the best technology for the particular purpose. And by the way, remember that it's not compulsory to use it, but it is something that we should try and inculcate. Now, instructional slides, you design your PowerPoint in such a way that everything can be active. Now, you see these particular links here. They are quite useful. I will tell you about them shortly. Let's just get to the end. Okay. Now, this is me giving extra lessons, 1 minute, and you go. Let's have a look at these slides. For instance, maybe I want to do this one instead. Live worksheet. And I open this live worksheet. I explore, right? Sorry. So let's log in and see. All right. What's happening? Let me stop sharing it first. I wonder if I've lost good graces with live worksheet. All right, I'm not a robot. Yes, we are in. So now, one thing about live worksheet is this. It makes your life easy. Let's explore that quickly. Now, on live worksheets is a platform where all levels of education is, from secondary school to higher institution, where they create worksheets, and their students can go there for practice. They can self-test and they can self-do stuff. So let's say we are in music, for instance, now. So we click on worksheets. This is very, very good for the lower age. And I say I type music. And I say from, say, age 9, and I say maybe ends at age 14. Then I sort by alphabetically, and I say apply. Now, it will bring out several worksheets for me. Okay, why is this one here? Okay, let's search again. Music, worksheets, most popular, apply. Okay, now have a look at this worksheet, for instance. I mean, I'm just showing this as a way of using the tool, okay? It's not necessarily, you can design your own worksheet and put it there, all right? So we use any of these worksheets. Let's see the one we can quickly use in our class right now. Okay, let's come here, for instance, and say we click on music maths. It quickly opens, and once it opens, it's at the bottom. So it's not left for you. What is the score for this one? This is 2 plus 2, 4 minus 1, 3 plus 7. So you just come here, you click on, you type 7. So let me just answer randomly. The answers do not have to be correct. I'm just typing randomly, all right? Type randomly. And when you are done, okay, you go to the bottom, you say finish. Now, they can either email their answers to you immediately, because you are going to create your own worksheet and put it there, or they can check for their own answers. Now, when I check for my answer, it has marked it, and I only scored 2 over 10. Can you see? I only scored 2 over 10. And immediately, I can see the ones I didn't do correctly, the ones I answered correctly, the ones I answered incorrectly is right there. Now, this is a wise teacher that is using this worksheet. Is a wise music teacher. We are using technology to onboarding that workload that will take forever for us to do. So using that is a very, very, very useful tool. All right. Of course, there will be much more I will put into the when it's over. I will send these slides to Dr. Ayorinde. He can share it with every one of you. Now, let's now go into what tools can we use for composing and arranging. Now, there are plethora of them. Of course, we know that we can use MuseScore. So MuseScore is mostly traditional, even though it's digital, but it's mostly traditional. What about those of our students? What about those of us that's not teaching, that's teaching contemporary music? What about those of us that want to teach arrangement? You know, what are the tools we can give to our students that can immediately let them begin to engage with the creative process, even though they don't have the tools, the knowledge yet, but they can begin to immediately to engage those process. One very, very important one for me is BandLab. BandLab is a very, very useful tool. And I use BandLab many times if I need to teach my students arrangement. All right? Teach them arrangement. So I'm going to just go into BandLab. I will edu.bandlab. So the way to enter BandLab is to say edu.bandlab, right? Is to take it to the education part of BandLab. Now, it will now require you to either log in, start as a teacher, or start as a student. So when you are a student, when your teacher has sent, or when you have sent the link to your students, then the students can start as a student. But as a teacher, you start from here. You click start as a teacher, then follow the process of logging in. But because I already use BandLab, I'm just going to log in. I'm just going to log in and use, not this one, use my Google to log in. And once it logs in, you can see that I have several classrooms there, right? Like my studio production class for year 1 students, for year 2 students. And when you get into the year 2 students, you open the year 2 students, and you can see immediately, I created an assignment for them some time ago. And the assignment is arranging loops, right? 7 of them did it. Not all of them did it, but that's fine. It's right there. Okay? I created the assignment, and the published assignment is right here. Now, once you click on, I'll show you how to use it now. Click on those that have responded. These are the people that responded. Oh, Samuel Rotimi responded. Samuel, are you still in class? Can we play an example? Yes or no?
No problem, sir.
Okay, so let's be sure that it's still there. So, so the assignment is right here, arranging loops, and people that have responded is all right. I don't think you responded though. Sure, you see. Anyways, none of them responded. Anyways, so let's navigate this generally. It's okay. Let's first of all explore what BandLab is. You get on BandLab. This is your own channel. You can create your classroom. You can create your classroom by creating class. You name it, okay? You name it and say AI BandLab for today. Once you say AI BandLab for today, you name it, you do all those things, you create your class code and you send to your students. Once you have done that, the next thing you're going to do is to immediately, BandLab. So immediately you have done that, you can assign your assignments. So let's have a look at how this BandLab works. So I'm going to click on this music 2 quavers over there. It's going to ask you what you want to do. Do you want to create a personal project or whatever the case may be? I want to create a personal project, okay? But let's just do mix editor. Now, Now, once I enter the mix editor, okay? Once I enter the, let me quickly turn off this. It's not going to work. Let me turn this off immediately. All right. Once I enter the mix editor, many things can happen right here. You can choose instruments. You can choose guitar. So let's say I choose my piano. I choose piano. So first of all, I'm going to tell it to find my focus right. Once it finds my focus right, and it can locate my piano, I can begin to work, you know? Now, once you've done that, in this particular, on this particular case, you can see lyrics notes. This is where you can type your instructions to your students, what you want them to do. This is where you can give them feedback on what they have done. This section is where you can give feedback on when they send you an assignment, you can respond right here. That's one. Two is that if you want to teach your students probably arrangement, it first of all gives you access to loops. So let's say, for instance, I want to browse loops. I mean, I like K-pop, for instance. So I'm going to go to loop packs. I'm going to just type, I want K-pop, right? I want K-pop. Expanded. I click on K-pop expanded, and it opens for me. Boop, boop. Come on, hurry up. Internet is doing its job, isn't it? Let's wait for internet to do its job. Please, while we're waiting for internet, does anybody want to ask me a question, please, on the tools we have learned so far? Any comments, please, on the tools we have learned so far? Which one is very, very useful for you? Which one will you adapt to immediately? Which one?
Please, for the peer deck, when you started, I missed a bit, but I noticed that it's interactive and you can use it. Can you just quickly summarize what you said on peer deck?
Well, I just said that peer deck is a tool that you can use for student engagement. You can use it immediately for student engagement. So for that purpose, you need to just log yourself, get registered into peer deck. Some of them are paid, some of them are not paid, just get into peer deck. Once you've done that, it's interactive, but you cannot just use peer deck by itself. You need to first of all create a resource. Once you create a resource, you load the resource into peer deck. Okay, you know what? Let's assume that this band lab is not working at the moment. Let's explain that, let's explore that peer deck right away. Let's explore it right away because it seems like it's quite important to you. So, guys, I'm going to be giving you one very, very very nice tool that you can use, especially if you are time bound. And that tool is called Magic Slides. So I'm going to go onto my slide. I locate my slides. Then I create a blank document. Who wants to talk me through? Is anybody here that I want a co-presenter, somebody that wants to talk to me. I want to talk to somebody while this is going on. Who is a volunteer?
I'm a volunteer.
Okay. Are other people are people still here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are here.
Yes, we are here.
Okay, thank you very much.
We are here, sir.
Please, I would like you to slow me down if I'm moving too fast. All right. So let's go. So Mr. Wande has decided that he wants to be my wingman. Now, you have woken up in the morning and you just realize that you don't have anything for your lesson planned. Oh my God, I'm stuck. You realize that you know the topic, but at the moment, you don't know how to quickly put your thoughts together. This is where AI becomes your cousin and your wingman. So, Mr. Wande, the first
Yes,
thing
sir.
we will do is this. Once you have opened your brand lab and your Google Slides,
Right.
you may need to go and say get add-ons, right? When you click on extensions, you click on get add-ons, and it will take you to several places. At those several places, you are going to look for magic slides. All right. You can type it, just find magic slide. This is also where you find peer deck and all those things. Now, I don't want to waste time on this, but that's how you get there. You look for magic slides. Now, I have found magic slides. I've embedded it already. So you now say to magic slide, you click. So let's start again. We've opened this, we opened the slides. At the top here, I'm going to be directing you there now. So at the top here, we are going to look for extensions, right? Not help. We're going to look for extensions, right? When we get to extension, we're going to click on extension. Now, after we've clicked on extension, we need to now click on, what's it called now? We click on, just hold on. Then you click on generate magic slides app for slides. You know, I have already added magic slide to mine. Remember, you go to extensions, you click on add-ons if you don't have magic slides. Once you've done that, you start your magic slide again, and it's going to appear here. Then I will now say what? Generate PPT. Now, while that is working, you will look to the right of your, look to the right. At the right, which I'm going to shade in orange, this right here, this is where your cousin is. All right? That's where you go to. So, Mr. Wande, what is that topic that is confusing you that you did not plan? Let's talk about it here.
Bass clef.
Okay, bass clef. So you go into this place and you type bass, right? Clef, isn't
Or
it?
maybe make it all about bass. All about bass.
You just call bass clef, isn't it? Bass clef.
Okay.
Right. Now, then you go to the reference. In this reference, this is where you need to be quite careful. So you go to this reference and you say, students, right? So you can say, mention the class. And these students, right, in year 7 needs to know about bass clef. Okay, let's do it again. Let's start again. Say this music lesson. That's it. This music lesson is about bass clef. It is for year 7 students. They need to know about the bass clef, instruments that uses bass clef, and if there is any musical example, right? All right, you've done that. Then you say you want 10 slides or you want 4 slides. It depends. So let's say you want 6 slides or 8 slides. Then you say that. Then you can now say generate outline. You get my point. What design do you want? You put all those things there, summarize anything you want. All right. Once you've done all of this, right? Did I scatter it? I think I scattered it too. Yeah. So let's do it again. Let's start again. Extension, magic slide, general PPT. And that's the thing about all these things. So we say the topic is bass clef, right?
Yeah.
And this year 7 music lesson is about bass clef and instruments that uses bass clef. You can also put some music examples. Then you say you want maybe 10 slides, all right? Then you just, the next thing you just say generate outline. In about 2 minutes, maximum 2 minutes, you can see it generating. So I want us to follow this carefully. We have to use it ethically also. What happened? Generate slide, man. Can you see what has happened just now?
Yes, sir.
Right. It's generating the slides. Now, what I'll do immediately is I would change my background. I usually do that all the time. I'll go and choose image. I'll go online. I'll say Google Images. And I can say, I would say brown paper. Right? Brown paper. Right away. I'll choose anyone I like immediately. Insert. Then I'll say add to theme. And voila, it has changed. Right? Then all you need to do now is to begin to explore. Check whether the information you have there is correct with music. Music is there. Everything you're looking for is right there. Unique shape is right there. Yes. The instrument I use, bassoon, is there. Advantages, bass clef. You see, it's generated for you almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
So once you've used that to generate your slides, the next thing you want to begin to do is you now have to start navigating stuff. Let's say, for instance, anyways, you start navigating stuff. So that's enough about all those tools. Now let us
One quick question. I noticed that for the magic slides, it always says you have 3 trials.
Yeah, because you have to pay. Technology is not
Okay.
free. You have to play. That's what it's all about.
But you forgot to tell us that we have to pay for that.
Oh, well, unfortunately, technology requires you to pay, isn't it? So, so after all I have said, unfortunately, we couldn't use BandLab because technology wasn't working. We could also try to explore other things such as Soundtrap, Soundtrap and every other thing. Let's try Soundtrap if Soundtrap will work. If Soundtrap works, that's fine. Then we can go to somewhere else. Soundtrap. Now, Soundtrap.
Just a quick one, sir, before you continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is 3:30. We are open to close at least 3:40, no, 3:50. So do we want to on, or we want to open it for general Q&A right now, or what? This is also to everyone in the house.
So the choice is yours. If you want Q&A, I'm ready.
Oh, let's open it to people because they are the participants. So let's make it.
Can we have something, maybe a short thing on Soundtrap?
Okay, fine. That's good. So let's have Soundtrap, then we open for Q&A so we can close at least at 4.
All right, so someone else have another feedback apart from Mr. Wande? All right, let's go on. So if you want to use Soundtrap, the thing about Soundtrap is that, so I'm already logging in, it allows you to do certain things. Once you get into Soundtrap, you've logged in as a teacher, right? You can start collaboration. You can see right here, this is why I'm talking about Soundtrap. It allows for collaboration. Immediately the composition process starts, right? You and your students can be working on the same music, whether you are at home or anywhere else. So let's say, for instance, now I enter the studio. Once you enter the studio, you could immediately, there are things you can do with this. For instance, you want to create music now. I could now say, hello guys, today's lesson, your assignment today is orchestrating so and so and so. We go to add new track. I load, maybe, let's say I load a synth. I want a piano to be loaded. Then I go look for my piano. I actually want a piano. I don't want anything else. So I say I load my piano. Where are you, Mr. Piano? I can't find you. Just give me a moment, please. Let's search for another instrument.
I think it's for keys.
It's all right, Mr. Wande. You know this already, isn't it? You're just trying to stress me. Add new track. We add a new track. Add instruments. Okay. Can this thing see my keyboard or not? Okay, you can't see my keyboard. Let's do settings. Look for MIDI. Find my piano. Thank you. What else do you need? No, I don't want music typing. Anyways, technology also does what it needs to do. All right, we have found our MIDI keyboard. So we can now load something. Let's load some instrument quickly. What do I want to load now? Why is my sound not giving me? Why is it not giving me sound?
Your MIDI said no signal.
All right. Well, unfortunately, not now. Let me see. It's giving me some issues.
You have to reroute the audio.
Yeah, I have to reroute the audio. I know,
Yes.
but I don't want to do that during the lesson. There's no point.
Oh,
So
okay, right.
apparently, so this particular stuff allows you to. It allows you to create an instrument in your class, and you can just create a track around here, and give your students tasks to do. However, this is self-explanatory, and if you require further information, I could just send you some link where you can read it. Thank you very much. Dr. Ayorinde.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Korede. This is, as usual, of course. We know that we are going to have a lot from you. Thank you so much. It's quite interesting and also deep also because, we've seen a lot, you taking us from one level, from one direction to the other direction, from one genre to the other genre. Thank you so much. Perhaps we have, if we have colleagues who want to ask one or two questions, it would be nice for us to have the question now, or if you need clarification on particular theme ideas, we have the next, let's say, 20 minutes to engage that, or other ideas within the AI realm, technology and other related, concepts that you want clarification. So I think the floor is open now. If you have questions, kindly raise your hand and we can engage further. The next 20 minutes though. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I can't find my hand.
Okay.
Can I say something?
We can
We
hear
can
you.
find your voice.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you so much for this presentation. Very, very, very interesting. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate everything I just listened to. Now, I want to ask a question. Is it possible to do some of this stuff offline? Like the Google slide that we prepared from the normal Google, from our Gmail, the slides. Can you save those things and afterwards, maybe you can just refer to them without probably going through the internet? Is it possible that way?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so please explain that, sir. Thank you.
Okay. The reason I personally just like using Google Slides is that it stops me from copying and pasting things up and down like PowerPoint. Right? Immediately let's say for instance now, I've not been given the permission yet, So I've not been given the permission yet. So let's go to any of my slides, okay? And let's look for one of my slides. Like this part. I look for anyone, maybe the one I taught on jazz, or let's just pick something. Right. Okay. So I'm trying to look for something that is that is no there are too many things here. Okay, let's say music careers or character motif. So once I open this this PowerPoint now, and this Google slide now, if it was PowerPoint, what you're going to do is once you have finished it, you save it on your system, then you start carrying all these things around your external drive, your Gorishirishi. Then you'll be copying and saving everywhere. One, if I click on share at the top right here, once I click on share, everybody in my class or anybody that I want, I can just email it to them. Now, once they get it, all they need to do is just come to file, and just say download. You get. Once they download, you can download in any format you want. If I want to download this in PDF, I'll just say download in PDF. Once it downloads in PDF, it gets to somewhere. Once you say download in PDF, you can download in PowerPoint, anyone you want. You will realize that it has been saved. I'm no longer online, right? And I can have access to it right here without anything. So even if you create your slide using everything we have said, you can download it and have access to it offline. It's very straightforward, man. Did I answer your question, man?
Very well. Thank you so much.
And the other tools you can use, there's something they call Google Keep, which is quite interesting. Google Keep. This one it can be used for meetings. So just create a Google Keep and let everybody in your department have access to it. You can see all the meetings I've had, at Muson. I'm keeping them here. So everybody can have access to that. And you can be changing it. So explore Google services, Google Education is quite good. It's quite good. Thank you very much, man.
Wow. Thank you so much. Do we have other question, ideas, follow-up question, suggestion, clarifications here and there?
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. I want to ask a question. There is a limitation about with network. When a teacher already ran his class, for example, classes on composition, arrangement using BandLab or Soundtrap, Okay, and which is going to be quite interesting because it's going to engage the students. But in the middle of the class, and network comes with its limitation, going off, and it will bring a gap, a bridge between the teacher and the students. In that case, what can a teacher do in that case, prepare for that kind of situation?
Well, it now depends on the situation you find yourself. If your students are online, they're not in class when you are doing that, then you have to make sure that you have network that will not break. You have to just ensure that that's your tool. So it's like waking up in the morning and ensuring that there's engineering in your car. However, if it's what you are using in the classroom, like I said earlier, you are using it for visual purposes and network goes, there's something called blended learning and synchronous teaching. You change your style right there in the class. Pedagogy is not one way. If you are going with technology in your class and technology messes up, what do? You go traditional, right? That's why while you are doing all of these things, you do asynchronous teaching, right? You are blending both techniques, which is what I've been saying earlier, that technology is not replacing us. It's just another member of the class. So while you are teaching that, you have already prepared traditional approach somewhere. In case network goes like this, you go bam, straight to the other one. If I'm teaching those things and network decides to mess up, immediately I will just turn, bam, right? I turn. Even if you're online, make sure that if it comes to internet, get your internet ready. Be ready with your internet. Get it ready. If you are in the school and internet goes off while you are doing that, your students are in class, change your approach. Technology is just to make your job easier. If it's not usable at that point, don't use it. There's nothing you can do about that at that moment. It simply means that you cannot but still teach your students how to write the musical notes. But you teach them those ones, they understand it, then you drag them to the other platform, they know the two approaches. It's you and your class. Your technique should be determined by the situation. Teacher must always adapt, and be fluid in the classroom. One size does not fit all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we have Prince Tony. Can we have you, sir?
Thank you very much for this class. I just want to appreciate Mr. Korede for those, but to some of us, we look too much like old school teachers. So many of them sound a little bit new to us, and we might need to do more work, to be able to really get up. We need more materials to be able to access those things. I wonder if we can get any of these things in time of materials, like slides, so that we can go through beyond the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Like I said earlier, when I went to the slides, I was going to say, but I've not had permission by the organizers to share the slide or not. But like I've been saying since the other lesson, that I will send resources. There are open source resources, there are MOOCs, there are places you can go to. You remember the last lesson, I said last lesson, teacher language. No, it was not a lesson. The last dialogue we had 2 weeks ago, we mentioned things about peer mentoring. Right? So when there's a willing volunteer, peer mentoring is one of the best approach for these things. So even if you have the resources, right, and you can read them, a real life situation will make it faster for you to adopt it if you do peer mentoring. However, the slides can be provided. Like we said, it's not a big deal. They are open resource, they are open source. Those ones that are paid for, well.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question, sir. One thing is that I have just shared the YouTube channel for this seminar series. So anytime you can access this material, you can access this material on the on our YouTube page. as soon as we are done today, we are going to edit. Then perhaps in the next few days, or let's say, in the next few days, both episode will be available on our page. So I have just shared the YouTube page with us, so you can access this particular episode and other series, other meetings, other conversation and dialogue, both within the AI dialogue and also our series on documentation, artistic research, and other series we've had in the past, and we are still going to have. You can access them on this particular link. So please use a link. You can access the material there. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, welcome, sir. So do we have other follow-up questions or clarification? Okay. Okay, do we have other question or follow-up session? Okay. Okay, while we are waiting for, I think we have a few minutes left. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, I would like to thank our lecturer today, Mr. Korede Omopeloye, for this insightful lecture and lesson also. This, I must agree with many of our colleagues online who have shared their comment on the, on the platform, that this is indeed insightful and very, very, very resourceful in terms of the information, the format, and the diversity of the approach today. Thank you so much. We appreciate your kind, effort to, help us navigate these interesting dynamics. Thank you so much for your time. So can we take one more question as we switch on to the other side of the business of the day? Any question? Do we have other questions, follow-up questions, suggestions, or clarification on this particular lesson today? Okay, while people are still thinking, Mr. Korede, thank you so much. We are still looking forward to still having you again. Yeah, this is, I think, like you just mentioned, digital technology and music education, they are often in flux.
Yes.
They are open, and things emerge, evolve on a daily basis. So as we move, as we progress in this particular series, we are still going to bring you back again and again. Thank you so much for your kind, and generous, perspective, in the ways you shared your ideas, so accommodating and very refreshing also. Thank you so much. I hope for some of us those who work in the higher education, this is also relevant to us. In fact, I think at the secondary school and primary school level, most of these dynamics are already happening, particularly across private schools in our society, in Nigeria. So the university platform is particularly, I think this is even more useful and needed at that level. So we hope that some of us can take advantage of these resources and this lesson today. So in all, thank you so much to all our colleagues who have joined the process from the beginning of the lecture, and to some who are still going to join next week again. So again, you can join us next week again for another episode on this same series. Definitely you get our posters and the announcement for the next series, but we are always excited to have you around and also contributing your own perspective to the process. Thank you so much. Thank you. So till next week, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, bye.